Hey, I'm Ricky Montgomery, and I'm here chatting with Milky. Well, first of all, importantly, they fulfill the role of having more songs. So I would say just on the macro, there is more, which is important to me. I brought a couple more songs in on Ricky that were from my most recent EP. It's 2016 somewhere. EP, and I did that because I wanted to kind of flesh out the narrative that I had been trying to establish on Rick. I needed to kind of, in an effort to keep the momentum rolling post a viral TikTok moment, if you've ever heard of TikTok, I put some songs out that I wanted to put on my record initially. Talk to You, Settle Down, and a song called Sorry for Me. I always felt like the album feels a little incomplete without these songs on the record, and so I put them on the deluxe, Ricky, and so those are there. Other than that, I don't know, I wanted the fans to have a few more pieces of sort of what we were doing in the studio sonically, some sounds, some pastiches that we hadn't really presented yet. Like the song Penny Come Home is like very piano-led, and I somehow didn't do a lot of piano songs on this record. And yeah, I would say that those were kind of the main thoughts that drove the track listing there, but mostly I just wanted to have more songs because it had taken me a long time to put my second album out, and so therefore a lot of songs to give to the fans. I hope you like them. As far as what I was trying to present in my songs, I think a lot of it was just what do I want to put on an album after getting signed to a beautiful, gorgeous record label called Warner Records. I don't know, a lot of what drove the album was just, what I want to make songs about in general while I have people's attention, and that just kind of became, unfortunately, a lot of trauma dumping. Or fortunately or unfortunately. And so that was sort of what thematically led the record. I also was quite a bit older than I planned on being when I got signed. And so it was a lot also about kind of growing pains and, feeling perhaps slightly older than you want to feel in your job, which maybe a couple people can relate to, maybe not. Maybe it's just me. That, and then, I don't know, just especially on Ricky, just sort of some alternative music experiments that I wanted to experiment with again. I've never been much of a pop person, a pop fan, and yet I find myself in a pop landscape. And so with the deluxe in particular, I would point to the song Unknown Phantom, which is a bit more of like a Deftonesy, Weezery sort of guitar chuggy, if you will, song. Yeah, I don't know. It was just me trying to figure out what can I do with way too many resources, one could say, at a label. And Rick and Ricky were the result. Yeah, I don't know. It was just, I didn't go in with any themes or any goals beyond those. Just, I have a set of things I want to write about, and I have all these people that want, for now, to do these things with me, and what we have is what we have. I don't know, there really wasn't a lot that we stuck to. There were certainly things that we talked about trying to do sonically. I mean, I was always fighting to keep the mixes more minimal, and yet somehow, we always had, our eyes were bigger than our stomachs, perhaps, with some of the mixes, like in the songs like Type A and other ones, like Here Comes the Moon. But so those ended up being very pastiche, as I said. I'm the first person to say that word in an interview. And now I've said it twice. So I'm an industry leader. One thing I was very hell-bent on doing was having interludes. As I say that, I didn't really make the interludes until 2 days before the album was due. And so I was scrambling to finish the record, and I was desperate to have some sort of cohesive sonic element, and that became the 3 interludes that are on the album Rick, the first one out of the 2 projects. And they are a series of phone call, if you could call them interviews, with my mom. With my mommy. The way that I did them was I realized as I was making my album that I'd never asked my mom how she and my dad met or anything about their marriage really at all. And so I took the opportunity to do it in front of the entire world on my album. And I called her on speakerphone, and I set the phone down, and I put a microphone there. and I just recorded the entire call, and I pulled out a few moments which are on these tracks. I'm Just Joking in this interlude, We Got Married Twice interlude, and Ribbons outro. That, I had this this little piano loop that I had made that I put underneath it, and it was just that. So I wish I could say that we had more sonic thoughts than that, but we didn't. We just had songs that we made and are now out in the world, out everywhere on all platforms, available to all listeners in the world. I think it's changing how TikTok and other platforms can change the trajectory of an artist's career. Obviously, they can make them a lot more famous very quickly. I think, though, in the long term, generally what ends up happening with TikTok is that you sort of develop this internal critic who is always concerned with virality and always concerned with short-term wins. And so I don't know how healthy it is in the long run to be obsessing with these platforms or to even be using them for marketing. But regardless, they do work for marketing, and so we will continue to do that until it stops happening, as is our job. But I'm convinced after many years of doing this that, they definitely help get you off the ground, get you to get resources, get you to get eyes, which is always very important, obviously. But I do feel that there's some kind of weird sonic gumbo thing that's happening with TikTok where the trend cycle has just sped up ever faster and now it's actually, in my opinion, impossible to keep up with trend cycles in specifically music online. And so it's like you get this clone of a genre that just kind of keeps spinning around in a circle and forever. And sometimes it creates some really interesting sonic things. I would point to Pink Pantheress as an example, really cool mix of drum and bass and all kinds of different genres. And other times it kind of creates these very surface level things which are always happening in music. But whenever you are always presenting to a global audience, I think there's only so much you can do to create even linguistic depth, especially on a short form platform. Yeah, there's a good and bad, but I would say that I would be remiss to not say that there's never been a platform as good as TikTok at creating opportunities for independent artists, and that will always be true. And so I think I will leave it there. A lot of people have said all these things and more about these platforms, so I'm not sure how much more I can contribute, but those are a few thoughts off the dome from Ricky, that's my name, Montgomery, here in Warner Music Studios. Well, I have not had a lot of time to travel here, unfortunately. I've done a lot of sleeping. I did get to go to Melbourne yesterday, 2 days ago. I played an amazing show in Melbourne, sold out debut Australian tour. Starting with Melbourne, that was an amazing show. Truthfully, one of the most fun shows I've ever played. And I never say that if I don't mean it, and I really do mean it for Melbourne. That was an amazing audience. It's taken me many years to get out here, and I'm excited that I finally got to do it. I did get to go to a restaurant called Bastardo yesterday in Sydney, which was really amazing. I've still got a bit of a food hangover from that. What else? Yeah, I'm just kind of, traveling around and just seeing the cities more than anything. I'm not really doing specific things. More so just seeing, the buildings, I guess. Boy, what beautiful buildings here in Australia. I hope I get to go in more of them and do things. That would be great. I think I'm going to go to the Opera House today. I'm here during Vivid, I keep being told. I guess a festival that everyone is very excited about. So that's, I'm excited to see the light show, hopefully. Oh, yeah, and then in Brisbane, I think we're going to try to go to a koala place. So gonna go there, wash my hands so I don't get chlamydia, and then go home to the United States of America. Yeah, the live show is I keep being told our secret weapon by my managers. I have a lot of fun on stage. I'm always delighted that my jokes land in different countries. I never expect them to, and so far so good. Knock on wood. I don't know. I've always loved playing shows. I've been playing shows for, 16 years now. Ay. But that is true. And so, I haven't stopped doing it yet. So I must like it. and I think I like it a lot. So, I don't know. The live shows are an opportunity to create a new sonic experience. I've been saying the word sonic a lot today, but it's because I'm a musician and it's my job. I don't know. It's an opportunity to show the fans a new version of the song, even if it's subtly different. And certain things you can only create experientially for a listener in a live setting, I feel. And I've always felt that way as a fan as well. So it's fun to be able to participate in that tradition. And just going to keep doing it here in Australia for my debut sold-out tour for supporting the deluxe album Rick E, named after me. The Beatles, David Bowie, Kendrick Lamar, Joni Mitchell. Kendrick Lamar, the Beatles, the remaining Beatles. I'm going to say Kevin Parker because I'm thinking a lot about Australian things today, and that's a genuine answer. There we go. Those are the ones for today. I've been saying this album, A Crow Looked at Me, a lot by Mount Erie. That's a big one. Abbey Road. I'm trying to do rapid fire for you, but I'm thinking too much. Probably The Black Parade. You say these are rapid fire. These are very deep questions. E.T. I hope I don't mess up. I hope they're having fun. Not like us. Miley Cyrus. Sing Puff the Magic Dragon. Play 12 Bar Blues. The first concert I went to was a festival in St. Louis, Missouri called Point Fest. And the first band that I saw that day was a band called Safety Suit. The headliner of that show was the solo project of Serge Tankian from the band System of a Down. And I watched him, this must have been 2007, I watched him criticize George W. Bush, who was the president at that time, on stage, and I saw the entire crowd boo him, and I went, what an amazing, badass guy. I hope I get to do that one day. And maybe I will one day. The Flaming Lips. This is going to sound like a cop-out, but Melbourne was one because I had a difficult show the day before that, or a couple days before that, and so Melbourne was like a much-needed, like, oh yeah, they like me. That and, the real answer would be, I played this venue called The Pageant in St. Louis recently, which is the venue that I used to go to all the time as a kid. You said no explanations. The Pageant, the only time I've ever cried on stage. St. Louis, 2024? Yes. Final answer. The artist that came to mind was Mitski. For some reason, that's who it is in my heart. Don't know why, but that's the answer. I can't talk to you. I'm from the future. We mustn't cross paths. Lil B, the based god. Depends on the day. I don't know why Obla Di Obla Da came to mind. Maybe because it's just, it'll help me not be scared. That one. I don't know if I want to be a musician today. I think when I DM'd Danny Brown and I said, hey man, I don't know if I want to do this job anymore. What advice do you have? And he said, don't ask me. I don't know either. That's when I knew I had things in common with musicians.